Our application is more or less now complete in a development environment, and we get to now start thinking about moving this over to production. We're going to start discussing that in just a moment, but before we do, I want to show you one last thing that might help you out with Kubernetes in a development environment. I did not show you this feature earlier on very much on purpose because it can kind of throw you a little bit off base if you know about this feature too soon. So this is why I kind of waited to the very end of the development side of things to show you this. All right, so I'm going to flip over to my terminal really quick, and I'm going to run the command Minikube Dashboard, like so. So I'm going to run that command, and then you'll very quickly see a message that says opening Kubernetes Dashboard in default browser, and you'll get redirected over to your browser as well. So the page that's popped up here, you might notice, is hosted on our Minikube IP address at port 30,000. This is a dashboard that will show you information about everything that's going on inside of your Kubernetes cluster. And so it's actually a little bit of fun to scroll through here and take a look at all the different deployments, pods, all this different stuff that has been created and is in service to somehow create and manage your cluster with all your different containers in your entire application. So you can click through here a little bit and get a better idea of what's going on. You'll notice a couple of different pieces of terminology that we haven't quite spoken about just yet, such as, say, daemon sets and replica sets. And just so you know, as a quick side note here, we very specifically did not talk about replica sets or replication controllers because they're kind of deprecated, and the recommendation is to use deployments instead of replica sets or replication controllers. So just so you know, some of these pieces of terminology you'll see in here, we very purposefully did not cover because they are things that you're not quite supposed to use or seen as the best way of doing things with Kubernetes anymore. Anyways, I thought you might just find it a little bit interesting to click around here a little bit and take a look at some of the different services and pieces of data that exist in here. Now, I had said that I kind of purposefully did not show you this stuff earlier. The reason for that was that you can actually edit or even create different objects using this dashboard. But remember, anytime we create an object in Kubernetes or anytime we want to change something, we do not do imperative edits if we can ever avoid it. And so if you click create up here, yeah, you can enter in a YAML file, but you don't really have a good record of what that YAML is. You can also, say, go to maybe pods over here and click on a pod, and you can click on edit and make discrete changes to the YAML file or the config file directly right here. But again, if you make changes on the dashboard, they do not get somehow persisted back over to the folders and files that we've created inside of our project directory. So whenever possible, we always change the config files and not the actual configuration directly on this dashboard. So again, that's why I kind of wanted to hold off showing you this stuff right at the beginning, because I didn't want you to kind of get into a habit of manually changing or creating different objects on here. We always want to prefer using config files inside of our project directory to manage these different objects. Okay, so again, you can take a look at this dashboard and just get a better idea of some of the different pieces of information that are displayed on here. Otherwise, let's take a pause right here and we'll continue in the next section and continue thinking about how we're going to move our application over to a production environment. So quick pause and I'll see you in just a minute.